They called it the Edge of Solace, a scarred belt of abandoned stations circling a dim star. People lived in its shadow, scraping together survival from junk and dust, too far from the councils to be remembered. Idris was one of them, a scavenger whose hands knew the weight of rust more than the touch of trust. His nights echoed with the hum of patched engines and the silence of empty rooms. Legends drifted through the colonies, tales of colossi, guardians built from alloy and spirit who once shielded humanity in its first age of stars. They were betrayed, bound in silence and hidden away so that fear might sleep easier. To most, these were myths, stories told by miners after too much recycled ale. To Idris, they were nothing, until he found the shard. Buried in the bones of a shattered freighter lay a crystal unlike any salvage he had ever seen. It pulsed softly, like a heartbeat caught in glass. It spoke without words, more a feeling than a voice. Remember me. For the first time, Idris felt something greater than survival breathing against his chest. He tucked the shard close, never knowing that it would awaken the silence of centuries. The shard's signal could not stay hidden. Patrols swept the edge, their scanners hunting for the impossible frequency the crystal released. The Directorate called it contraband, dangerous to stability. In truth, they feared what might wake. Soldiers came in sleek frigates, their orders clean: retrieve the relic, silence the witnesses. Idris ran. He would not have survived without Celine, an exile with luminous implants at her temples, her voice calm as orbit but firm as iron. She recognized the shard instantly. "This isn't fuel. It's a key," she said. She carried fragments of Colossus memory embedded in her bones, recordings of lullabies, maps of storms once stilled by hands larger than ships. The shard resonated with her very veins. Together, they fled through graveyards of derelicts, chased by gunfire and the endless eye of power. In every shadow of metal, Idris heard the Colossus dream, flashes of fire it once extinguished, whispers of a child's hand it once held. But wrapped in those memories was grief, betrayal forged into chains. If they reached the place called the Bastion, Celine said, the Colossus might wake again. Whether it remembered mercy or wrath, that was the question that pursued them harder than any soldier. The Bastion hung like a broken crown around a dying star, its ribs forged from light itself. Inside, Idris and Celine found the Colossus, a mountain of steel curled into silence, shackled in chains that glowed with the weight of centuries. Its chest was hollow, waiting for what had been stolen, waiting for the shard Idris now held. The soldiers arrived with General Corin at their lead. His voice was measured ambition, promising safety through control. He wanted the Colossus not as a guardian, but as a weapon. Guns lit the halls, and echoes of betrayal filled the chambers once again. In the chaos, the shard fell into Idris's hands as though guided. He pressed it into the hollow chest. The world trembled. Light poured like rivers. The Colossus stirred, its eyes opening with dawn's gravity. Its first words were not thunder, but sorrow. "Who calls me?" Every chain sang as if burning. The soldiers raised weapons and the Colossus lifted its head toward Idris. In that fragile silence, humanity was judged, not by power, but by memory. The Colossus remembered everything. The storms it once shielded, the betrayal that bound it. Rage boiled in its chest, yet so did the echo of a child's trust, the fragment of a lullaby carried in Celine's implants. and the fragile courage of Idris standing unarmed before it. General Corin shouted for dominance. Idris whispered for remembrance. The Colossus chose. It rose not to destroy, but to shield. Its vast arms spread, intercepting the barrage from Corin's fleet. The energy of its protection shook the bastion, threatening collapse. Selene fell to her knees, her circuits burning with the effort of harmonizing with the Colossus's pulse. Idris stood beside her, crystal light searing into his chest, lending the Colossus a tether to humanity. He gave his strength willingly, not as a master, but as a companion. The chains shattered into light. Corin's power dissolved in the glare of failure. The Colossus turned, its gaze not of conquest, but of guardianship. It positioned itself between the dying star and the colonies, holding back fire with its own body. Idris collapsed, his final breath a smile. Selene wept, but in her tears, the Colossus saw not weakness, but love. From that day, the Edge of Solace bore a new light, a sentinel in the sky. No longer silent, the story spread, not of domination, but of one human hand that chose mercy over fear. The Colossus remembered us, and in remembering, it forgave us.